Well, good afternoon all. It being around 12 o'clock, I declare open this public hearing of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Public Works for the inquiry into Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation Australian Centre for Disease Preparedness Stage 1 Part Life Refit. The committee's role, as defined in the Public Works Committee Act 1969, is to consider and report on the purpose and need for the proposed works, the most effective use of public money that can be made in carrying out the works, and the present and prospective public value of the proposed works. In accordance with the Committee's resolution of the 31st of July 2025, this hearing will be broadcast on the Parliament's website, and the proof and official transcripts of proceedings will be published on the Parliament's website. I also remind members of the media who may be present or listening on the web of the need to fairly and accurately report the proceedings of the committee. I'm Tony Zappia, the Chair of the Committee. To my right, Mr Andrew Wilcox, the Deputy Chair, and further to my right, Senator Josh Deleaga. We may also be joined online by a couple of other committee members, so if so, we'll let you know who they are. If any committee members are participating via chorus call and they are listening in, I remind committee members participating via chorus call to mute their microphones when not speaking and to give their name each time they speak to assist witnesses and Hansard. Committee members and participants are reminded not to take another call or put their phones on hold during the chorus call, as this may cause interference with the teleconference. I now welcome representatives of the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation to give evidence. For the Hansard record, would you each please state your full name and the capacity in which you appear before the committee?
My name is Fiona Rothwell. I'm the Director of Business and Infrastructure Services for CSIRO.
My name is Debbie Eagles and I'm the Director of the Australian Centre for Disease Preparedness.
My name is Alan Roberts. I'm the Strategic Facility Operations Director for ACDP and responsible for managing animal studies, biorisk management and the operations groups.
Good afternoon. My name is Graham Spencer. I'm the Principal of Education and Science at HDR Architecture and I'm the Design Lead for the ACDP project.
Thank you. Although the... Sorry,
my name is Jason Veal. I'm a Director from Turner & Townsend. I'm the Project Manager and Contract Administrator overseeing the design and delivery of the project.
All good. Although the committee does not require you to give evidence under oath, I should advise you that these hearings are formal proceedings of the Parliament. Consequently, they warrant the same respect as proceedings of the Parliament itself. Giving false or misleading evidence is a serious matter and may be regarded as contempt of Parliament. I now invite you to make a brief opening statement before we proceed to a discussion. Ms Rothwell.
Thank you, Chair. It's a pleasure to be here today to assist the committee with its inquiry into the proposed construction of Stage 1 of the Part Life Refit for the Australian Centre for Disease Preparedness located in East Geelong. CSIRO is Australia's national science agency and one of the largest, most diverse research agencies in the world, consisting of over 5,000 experts, 3,000 partners across 45 sites Australia-wide. Since our inception in 1926, our staff continue to be engaged in innovative and impactful research that's aimed at transforming the productivity, profitability and sustainability of Australia's industries. CSIRO staff have helped establish our international reputation for excellence and achievement in applied research. Within CSIRO is the Australian Centre for Disease Preparedness, or ACDP, a nationally and globally significant facility. For over 40 years, it has quietly underpinned Australia's ability to detect, respond to and manage the risks posed by infectious animal and zoonotic diseases. ACDP plays a foundational role in Australia's ability to respond to threats before they become crises. It provides sovereign testing and containment capability for the most dangerous pathogens, those that could threaten our livestock industries, export markets, food security and even human health. ACDP ensures that Australia does not rely on foreign testing capacity to respond to emergency animal disease outbreaks or emerging zoonoses. It also allows us to control sensitive biosecurity and trade information within our own systems, which is particularly important for market access and public trust during an outbreak. ACDP is not just a laboratory, It bridges science, industry, government and emergency response, providing the tools, expertise and infrastructure needed to manage current and emerging threats. It is the only facility in Australia equipped to test high-consequence pathogens in large animals under the physical containment, or PC4 containment, the highest possible level of containment, something vital when responding to diseases like foot and mouth or Hendra. As ACDP is in its 40th year of operation, certain components, such as some building services and fit-out, are past their planned operational life and are overdue for refurbishment. ACDP was designed to have a 100-year lifespan, with anticipated refurbishment at 30 years. The original 1970s designed laboratory layout was not designed for the advances made in scientific approaches and requires updating to comply with current requirements for laboratories and animal studies. CSIRO has evaluated multiple options for the future of the ACDP facility since 2013. These options include reactive and opportunistic improvements via multiple small upgrades, refurbishment of existing buildings and creation of new buildings or wings to the existing, with combinations of these proposed over a single or multiple stages of work as a combined program. Different location and scale options were also considered. The objective of this project is to deliver a midlife refurbishment of the ACDP facility in order to ensure that Australia has uninterrupted capability and capacity to deliver unique biosecurity services, including diagnostics, surveillance, vaccine and detection-related research and response planning. The main benefits expected to be realised from stage 1 of this part-life upgrade project are continuity of service and reliability to deliver biosecurity research and diagnostic services required at all times, modernising the facility so that contemporary and future equipment and operating processes can be accommodated, extending the life of the facility so that essential national surveillance, detection and research activities can continue into the future, and improve staff welfare by hosting staff in updated and contemporary laboratory spaces. Stage 1 is a vital first step for the part-life refit of ACDP. CSIRO will bring forward Stage 2 works in future capital works funding proposals for government and parliamentary consideration. Stage 1, the subject of this request for expediency from the committee, would deliver a new wing providing modern, fit-for-purpose laboratory space for diagnostic functions at ACDP. The new wing has been designed with the expertise of our staff, as well as a project team of architects, engineers, all committed to maximising the benefits the new wing will provide, whilst refurbishment to the existing laboratories are undertaken during Stage 2. In assessing the options available, CSIRO undertook a whole-of-life cost assessment and determined that the project is a value-for-money project that will provide significant benefit to the Commonwealth. Thank you, Chair, and we welcome any questions that you may have.
Mrs Rothwell, thank you very much for that opening statement. I should advise members that Tanya Lawrence, the member for Hasluck, has also joined us online. Tanya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Tanya. And before we get on to questions, can I thank yourself and your team for the tour of the CSIRO facility this morning and the ability for us to see firsthand the operations of it and the proposed works in terms of the scope of them and so on. So that was very, very useful, and it probably will mean that the questions that you'll be asked now would be less than they would otherwise have been. So thank you for that. Look, I'm just going to kick off with a couple of questions and then I'll go straight to my colleagues. Firstly, I understand that the work is being carried out simultaneously to some other works that are also still underway at the facility. And so my question is there going to be any problems as a result of the overlap of the different works?
Thank you, Chair. We have very careful program management over our capital works deliveries at the ACDP. Current projects going on are the electrical infrastructure works, which were before the committee last year. Those are sort of some key enabling works for Stage 1 of the part-life refit, and are due to be completed in September 2027, and those works will be programmed so that they don't run into any of the work that we're doing under stage 1 of the project. The other major piece of work going on at the moment is the construction of the ABN facility, which is a separate standalone facility, again, which will be concluded early next year, and again will be managed quite separately to this project. So we do program manage quite carefully those different capital works so that there are no dependencies or bottlenecks associated.
Okay. And does CSIRO have a long-term property strategy for that site? And if so, would you be able to provide a copy of your strategy to the committee?
We don't have a master plan as such for the site at this stage. The stage 1 and stage 2 of the Part Life Refit constitute what would be a master plan for the facility. We have research unit specific strategies that go into the science outcomes that we look to achieve.
Okay. Andrew.
Thank you, Chair. Probably to the Director. Currently the site is about circa 40 years old. Given the fact that technology is moving now faster than ever, how adaptable will this new building be? And then if changes sort of happen, will we be able to change it round, or how adaptable will the building be?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Could I ask you to talk to that one?
Thank you very much for the question. So the design of the building is such that the walls and the furniture systems are able to be shifted in time as the researcher evolves. So as new equipment comes in, or automation or robotics becomes more prevalent, we're able to bring that into the facility quite simply. So the building is designed in a very modular grid arrangement for that very purpose. It's not a bespoke design, organic design, it's a very rigid grid. So it allows for that flexibility for us to be able to enlarge suites, reduce suites, or provide additional spaces within the planning.
All right, perfect, thank you. Talking about the site itself, as you've got access to heavy data, and with the new AI coming through, heavy data, and have you got enough good quality and reliable power on site?
Thank you. To talk to power, is that something?
I'll pass it to
Thank you. We could ask Mr. Amelia Milne to come forward, who's our technical director, technical lead. If you could just introduce yourself.
Yes. So Amelia Milne, and I'm a technical director at Oricon and technical design lead for the project. So in terms of reliable power, so there's two 22 kV feeds that power the site. As part of the electrical infrastructure works, one of those cables will get relocated, but the main switchboards also get an upgrade. And as backup power, the generators are also being replaced. You might have seen on the tour just now that they're quite old, the existing ones. So as part of those works, that is future-proofing the site for power.
And data and further
data
down.
as well, yes. So the fibre network is similar. It also has diverse pathways in the building for redundancy as well. And the new wing will be well set out with lots of power and data availability for the future equipment that needs to be used.
Thank you. And benchmarking this new building against the rest of the world, how are we placed? Are we on par? Are we ahead? Are we behind? Or because clearly we don't want to be investing in yesterday's technology or yesterday's style.
Thank you, Ms. Wilcox.
I'm happy to pick it up from a biocontainment perspective to start with. So from a biocontainment perspective, the new build, the new wing, will be consistent with the biocontainment of the existing facility. And the existing facility, despite its age, remains well-classed. It was well-classed when it was built and remains that. So in terms of like-for-like, from a biocontainment perspective, there's really only 3 laboratories around the world that have the same box-in-a-box layers of biocontainment with additional capability to work with large animals at the highest levels of containment. And they're in Australia ourselves, in Germany and in Canada, with one to come online at some point in the US as well. So certainly from a biocontainment and overall capability of the site perspective, we remain world leading.
Thank you. And last question, Chair. Security. So with the containment, we've just said, within the top 3, whatever in the world, the security of that to make sure our testing is secure and free of threat?
From a biocontainment perspective, again, obviously those layers of security are there. We have a box-in-a-box style of biocontainment that ensures layers of biosecurity and additional procedures such as showering out that's required for our staff that are working in the facility before they come out of the facility. That will also remain with the existing space. In terms of physical security, the site has 24/7 personnel on site to maintain physical security, as well as the fencing and obviously access controls. We also have security assessments for our staff in order to manage access, and obviously from a site access perspective for visitors, that's very controlled, as you realised this morning as well.
Thank you. So just the box in the box, in the unlikely event that something did get out of the inside box, there's policies and procedures in place and something with your new building design that can be dealt with before it breaks or breaches the external perimeter. Is that correct?
Yes, the box-in-the-box design is allowed for so that if there is, for example, a spill in a biosafety cabinet, that there's layers of control that there can't be any leaking out into the broader environment. So that design is replicated from the existing facility into the stage, into the wing.
Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Josh?
Thanks very much, and thanks for the great site visit today. And I would just like to acknowledge the great work that the CSIRO staff do and researchers do for the Australian community. Ms Rothwell, you probably remember from the Black Mountain hearings that we had when we were talking about work health and safety. How have you been engaging with health and safety reps at the ACDP for this project?
Yes, thank you. And I'll ask Dr Eagles to talk to the involvement of our HSR and HSE team.
Yeah, so throughout the process, our staff, laboratory staff, have been heavily involved in the design processes. So it's important for staff working at the bench and using the equipment to be able to contribute to the design around what works and what doesn't work, and what we anticipate or need from a flexibility perspective. As part of that process, we have had both our health and safety staff on site. So we have 3 health and safety staff on site, as well as our health and safety reps, of which we have 20. They have been involved in the process of design as well.
And have the health and safety reps given you any concerns about the plans, or have they given you any suggestions in which you've been able to implement to make the design or the plans better?
Yeah, I mean, the designs now are the original design's a few years old, so they've had a lot of work. I can't remember any specifics absolutely throughout that process. Things like the locations of biosafety cabinets and how they relate to doors and what that looks like in terms of conflicts from a space perspective. Absolutely, there's been lots of feedback throughout the process. Essentially a couple of years' worth of functional working groups for which health and safety were involved in each stage of those, or every one of those, for each of the spaces that we were considering. So absolutely lots of feedback and the ability to respond to that as well.
Thank you. And from the site visit today, it's obviously the Centre for Disease Preparedness is obviously you've control and safety is assumed as paramount, but obviously the tour and the complexity of the world-leading facilities that we have is so important. So has Comcare previously been looking at ACDP over any work health and safety issues in the last period of time, and how have you been able to implement and improve safety practices at the ACDP for workers?
I'm just trying to think if we've had any. We've not had any sort of proactive visits that I'm aware of. that I can recall. Happy to take that on notice if you need any further responses around that.
Yep.
Obviously, the normal reporting as required, but no proactive measures that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Yep. Proactive or reactive or anything like that, or happy for you to take it on notice, of course. You know, like if need be, but I'd be very, very happy after seeing today, like, and how complex the system is, and safety for workers, and how, if there's been anything, are you able to improve with the new facility coming on board?
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, I mean, certainly just reiterate that presence of 3 health and safety staff that are based on site very much, highlights our own and broadly CSIRO's acknowledgement of that complexity and the need for that health and safety support on site, in addition to our biosafety teams that provide the specific biosafety advice.
And how have you been engaging with the CPSU, the Staff Association for the CSIRO?
Yeah. So specifically around the project?
About this particular project and consulting with that part of the workforce.
Yeah, so... No, you go ahead if you... I'm happy if you want to. Around the project, we have engaged with the Staff Association on the project and will continue to do so. Mr. Beale, have you had any?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that in terms of the safety, in the EIW project that the committee approved last year, there's a big component of electrical safety that project is. Yes. So the local CSIRO team proactively pushing forward that project in terms of responding to a safety matter. And then in terms of staff consultation, they were heavily involved in developing the workflows and actually formed the design and layout of the wing, and even to the point that the wing itself is a biorisk safety response, because it was found that we could not start with refurbishing the labs. There was up to, at one point, I think it was 13 different stages of building construction, and at that point the risk was just too high. So the wing itself is a strong component of a safety response in the way that that's come forward as a decant first step.
I think the question was, have you had discussions with the CPSU? Yes or no?
Yes, we have.
Thank you.
And will continue to do so.
Yep. And has the CPSU provided any feedback about the project, or?
No.
Okay, great. And when we were talking about, when we were at the site tour today as well, we were talking about the how long it would take to build facilities and the time frame to actually construct this wing rather than do refurbishments. Can you tell us about the public benefit and the benefit for research about building this wing and how that compares to starting from scratch? I think Andrew was saying about 20 years for a new building comparable overseas. What's the community and the research benefit of this particular project and building this wing? How soon is the community and going to benefit from CSIRO research?
Thank you. Dr. Eagles?
Yeah, so really the intent of building the wing is because it's standalone from the existing facility but aligns with that existing facility, is to be able to build it really quickly. That's very much the point of doing that, noting that we subsequently need refurbishments of the existing space. What it will allow for us to do is to remain operational. So essentially, if pieces of plant fail in the existing facility, what having the wing will do will mean that we can remain operational. And from an operational perspective, those outputs are diagnostic testing results for testing of emergency animal diseases, which can impact livestock trade. So keeping that 24/7, 365 a day, days a year operations is enormously important. And then when we come to the research perspective, obviously being able to continue our research is equally as important. And an example of that is the ability to deal with emerging viruses such as SARS-CoV-1 or COVID-19, ability to be able to test vaccines or better understand transmissibility of the virus is incredibly important.
So the community, the investment for this wing, the community will be able to feel the benefits in, I think, was it 2 years that you said that you'd be able to build the new wing within, and then straight away researchers will get, and the scientists will get straight into the new labs within that couple of year time frame.
Yeah, completion of the project is due August 28, with occupation after sort of commissioning a couple of months later, so towards the back end of 2028.
Excellent.
All right, thanks, Chair.
We have Mr David Smith, the member for Bean, and also Senator Maria Kovacic on the line as well. I'm going to go to Tanya first. Tanya, can you hear us? And if so, do you have any questions?
Thank you. Can you hear me okay, Chair?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Can I just clarify, questions on cost done in a private session?
I'm sorry, what was the last word? I didn't catch all of your question, Tanya.
Sorry, just asking whether questions on cost are done in a private session.
Yeah, questions on the cost or were you asked in the in-camera session?
No worries, thank you. I'll defer those ones. And my apologies, I wasn't present to attend the visit. It sounds like a great opportunity to understand the extraordinary work CSIRO do. For my benefit, can you just advise the extent to which there are any animal testing done at the facility and what animal welfare considerations are in the, ensuring that they're really modern and, for contemporary requirements for animal welfare if animal testing is done at the site?
Thank you, Ms Lawrence. I'll ask Dr Eagles to talk to testing and Dr Roberts to talk to welfare. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. We do conduct studies on animals when that's required for our research. And that's a range of different animal species that we're able to use in the facility when we have appropriate welfare considerations and ethics approvals. I'll ask Dr Roberts to talk to that in a moment, but maybe examples just to give you would be we were able to test one of the first available COVID-19 vaccines with animals in the facility. And I'd highlight that we obviously also do a lot of work on non-animal models or ex vivo models. Obviously, any work that we can do prior to our work on animals is much preferred, but a number of studies, the only current option is to actually be testing in animals. I'll hand over to Dr Roberts just to pick up around the ethics components of that too.
Thank you, Dr Eagles. We have quite a comprehensive procedure before we can even undertake any animal testing. It requires approval within the centre to see that there's a benefit for doing the work. And then we have an animal ethics committee that's chaired externally that makes sure that we adhere to the highest standards and links into Animal Welfare Victoria to give approvals. Once studies commence, we have a highly skilled animal studies team, and we have facility vets and we have animal welfare officers to oversee the work to make sure that we operate at the highest standards.
Tanya, did you have any other questions?
Thank you, Chair. I'll defer to the private in-camera session. Thank you.
Okay. David, are you on the line, and if so, do you have any questions?
G'day, Chair. No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Maria?
No questions from me either, Chair. Thank you.
Back to the Deputy Chair. Andrew.
Thank you. What do you do with the waste after the testing has been taken? Surely that must be expensive to get rid of or something. So how is your waste dealt with?
Thank you, Mr Wilcox. Dr Roberts?
Yeah. So there's a number of waste streams within the site to make sure that nothing comes out. So there's different routes. We have autoclaving, which is using steam to disinfect, and then we also have incineration. We also have chemical disinfection if we need it, and some parts of work may have chemical, autoclaving and incineration, but there's nothing discharged from the centre that hasn't been treated.
So everything is contained within the site? Yeah. Thank you.
When the new extension is completed, what impact will that have on staff resources? In other words, will there be more staff required, will there less staff required, or will the staff requirement be about the same?
Mr. Zapier, Dr. Eagles.
Yeah. We expect staffing to remain the same. So essentially, once stage 1 is finished, we obviously hope, pending approvals, that we'll be able to start refurbishments in the existing space. That means that staff that were otherwise in some of the existing spaces will be in the stage in the wing, working into the wing space. So essentially the staffing will be the same, both from a diagnostics and research perspective, but also from a containment and infrastructure perspective as well.
Okay. Your submission notes that the proposed works are occurring as a part life refit. The committee has previously heard that the expected lifespan of the facility is 100 years. Does this mean that the new high containment laboratory wing will reach its end of life before the main building does?
The new wing would require a part life refit at a particular point in its lifespan. What is the lifespan?
The structure is designed to 65 years.
Sorry?
65 years is what the new wing has been designed to.
All right. Any of my colleagues last call? Any other questions?
I've got one
Andrew?
more, if that's all right.
I actually do have a quick one, if that's okay.
Sorry?
Hello, it's Maria here. I do have a quick
I
question.
can
if that's
hardly
okay.
hear you.
Ah. Can you hear me now?
Yep, that's a bit better.
Perfect. The agenda papers say the proposed works are required to protect the supply of vital and unique biosecurity research and diagnostic services. It just might be a bit of a benefit for me. It is. I'm not sure more broadly for the committee to understand the value of this work and perhaps some of the unique research that will be conducted at the new facility.
I think the question is around the sort of research and diagnostic work that happens at the facility. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Very good question. So as a starting point, we're the national reference lab for what's called emergency animal diseases. So that includes exotic diseases as well as potentially new and emerging diseases or other high priorities such as, for example, Hendra. So we do that testing 24/7 as required, and that includes up to around 1,000 cases a year of exclusion or testing to rule in or out the presence of those diseases. And to give an example maybe of the impact of some of those diseases, so for a foot and mouth disease outbreak, a multi-state outbreak, the expected cost of one of those outbreaks is $80 billion over a 10-year period just in terms of direct costs. And so what our testing does is we make sure that we're able to provide rapid and trusted results so that if there is an outbreak, we're able to hopefully help control it really quickly. The quicker for the test result, the quicker that it can be contained and controlled. And then on to our research. Our research helps to better understand, for example, how diseases are transmitted, which might give some indications around better control, helps to develop and test vaccines or better understand, as an example, what insects might spread particular diseases, such as things like Japanese encephalitis or dengue, that again help to help us with control methods such that we can contain diseases better or, in some cases, hopefully prevent them occurring. Hopefully that gives a bit of an indication, but more than happy to expand on that as needed.
Maria, does that answer your question?
It does indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Andrew, did you have another question?
I did. So given the original building is like 40 years old and is essentially like a concrete bunker, would it be fair to say that? And this new design has a lot more glass around the outside, and well done, because I think for those workers, that'd be staff welfare, that would be like living in a submarine, I reckon. So I really like the idea. However, then you've got more points, with the glazing, whatever. What building techniques have you got around the glazing to make sure that, again, that perimeter is not breached?
Certainly, thank you for the question. So, Deputy Chair, the box within a box, the inner box is a precast concrete and highly specialised glazing system that actually contains is our primary point of containment. The outer box is a facade which has a pressurisation around that. It's actually pulling the air into the box as well. So we're not relying on the facade as the box, as our primary point of contact. We're actually, the inner box is that primary point of contact. And so by doing so, and that is something that we have benchmarked around the world. HDR has actually designed facilities of this nature in the Purbright Institute in the UK, the Centre for Disease Control in the US. So this is a common technique for PC3 facilities. So we are reliant on that primary point, and within that primary containment boundaries, there are spaces within there that also form another containment. So you have boxes within boxes within boxes. So I hope that answers your question in terms of the concrete bunker and the nature of our more modern design approach.
Yeah, I like the modern design. I like the natural light, but my basic farming knowledge is concrete stronger than glass.
Correct.
So I was just making sure that we had the right...
Which is that.
And you've answered it well. So
thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Chair.
All right. I think that concludes the public hearing. I don't have any other questions, and so if that's the case, I thank you all for your participation in the hearing today. I don't think you've been asked for any additional information. You will be sent a copy of the transcript of your evidence. Sorry? There was a request? Okay.
And if I could just correct the record on one item, Mr Zappi, if you don't mind. Senator, you asked if we had specifically engaged with the Staff Association as regards stage one. We haven't at this point. Okay. We do on other matters, but we haven't on this project at this point.
All right. I trust you will.
We will.
Thank you
Very much.
Sorry, there was one additional piece of information. If you could get that to the Secretariat ASAP, that would be appreciated. You will be sent a copy of the transcript of your evidence to the committee today. If you feel there's some corrections that need to be made to it, again, contact the Secretariat. With that, I declare this public hearing closed.